Okay, so this story, it starts with one of the most terrifying 911 calls you will ever hear, and it ends at a hospital with a twist that just seems completely impossible. It all kicked off with just 5 words.
She cut me. I'm pregnant. Imagine being the 911 dispatcher who hears those words on March 18, 2015. The woman on the line is 26-year-old Michelle Wilkins. She's 7 months pregnant, and she's fading fast, bleeding out in the basement of a total stranger's home.
Now, while paramedics are racing to save Michelle's life, something really bizarre is happening just moments away at the very same hospital. And this is where things get truly unbelievable. So get this. 2 women show up at the same emergency room. First, you have Michelle Wilkins, rushed in by ambulance, critically wounded, stabbed, and her baby is gone, missing from her womb. Then, just minutes later, another woman, Dinell Lane, casually walks in with her fiancé. She's totally fine, not a scratch on her, and she's holding a newborn baby she says she just delivered at home. How on earth is that possible? And this is where these 2 stories just horrifically collide. When police get to the address from Michelle's 911 call, they realize the basement where she was attacked is inside Dinell Lane's apartment. Right then, that strange coincidence at the hospital, well, it's no longer a coincidence. It's a full-blown criminal investigation, and Dinell is right at the heart of it.
Michelle is in surgery, fighting for her life, so she can't talk. Investigators turn to Dinell for answers, but as soon as they start asking questions, her story starts to unravel fast.
The red flags were just popping up everywhere. First, Dinell couldn't remember her due date. I mean, what mother doesn't know her due date? She had these deep, weird cuts on her hands she couldn't explain. Then she flat out refused a medical exam from an OBGYN. But the real kicker? The hospital staff could see it plain as day. She had absolutely 0 physical signs of having just given birth. Her story wasn't just shaky, it was medically impossible.
As investigators dug deeper, they realized this wasn't an impulsive crime. Oh no, this was a meticulous, year-long deception. It all started with faked pregnancy photos on Facebook. Then, a baby shower for a little boy she was going to name James. She even blew past her fake due date in November, 4 months before the attack. This lie was so elaborate, so woven into the fabric of her life. And this part is just bone-chilling. People around Dinell, they were suspicious. Someone, a bereavement doula, actually posted this warning in a Facebook group weeks before the attack. They saw the warning signs and feared the absolute worst. And tragically, they were right on the money.
So, the evidence is piling up. A DNA test is about to prove the baby isn't hers. Dinell knows the game is up. She finally confesses, but her version of events is a wild tale where she's the victim.
So, according to Dinell, she's the one who was attacked. She claims Michelle came over for some baby clothes and then just lunged at her with a knife. In the struggle, Dinell says she accidentally killed Michelle. And then, in a supposed moment of panic, she says she performed a C-section, not to steal the baby, but to save it.
But that was Dinell's story. Weeks later, when Michelle Wilkins was finally able to testify, she painted a completely different and far more terrifying picture. She remembers she was just trying to leave when she got hit from behind. There was no argument, there was no fight. It was just a sudden, brutal ambush.
The proof of just how premeditated this was? It was literally carved into Michelle's body. Doctors who examined the wound on her abdomen described the incision as well performed. This wasn't some frantic, messy slash. The attacker knew exactly what they were doing. An investigator soon figured out why. Dinell Lane used to be a certified nursing assistant.
So, why? What could possibly drive someone to do something so calculated and so horrific? To even begin to understand that, we have to look into Dinell's past and the desperate need she had to keep her lies from collapsing.
The immediate motive? It was just immense pressure. Her fiancé Dave was getting really suspicious after months and months of her excuses about the pregnancy. He finally gave her an ultimatum: prove it at a doctor's appointment or he was gone.
The day of the attack, March 18th, that was the day of another one of her rescheduled appointments. It was a deadline she just couldn't fake her way out of anymore.
And that fake pregnancy? It was just the tip of the iceberg. The lies ran so much deeper. The most unbelievable truth was that she couldn't have been pregnant at all. Her ex-husband confirmed she'd had her tubes tied years before. She faked sonogram recordings. She lied about her job. Dynel had built an entire false life from the ground up.
But underneath this web of lies, there is a really profound personal tragedy. 12 years before the attack, Dynel's little 18-month-old son drowned in a pond when she was supposed to be watching him. Now, this is in no way an excuse for her actions, not at all, but it does give us a crucial piece of psychological context for her obsession with having another baby. So, with Michelle's testimony, Dynel's confession, and that mountain of evidence laying out all her lies, the case went to trial. And the outcome? It was pretty decisive. 100 years. Dynel Lane was found guilty on all counts: attempted murder, unlawful termination of a pregnancy, all of it. She was sentenced to 100 years in prison, a sentence that makes sure she will never be free again.
Michelle Wilkins, against all odds, survived the absolute nightmare she endured. But the most tragic and heartbreaking end to this story is that her baby girl, the daughter she named Aurora, did not survive.
And that leaves us with the big, haunting question at the center of this case. What drives a person to such a violent and such an intricate deception? Is it grief, desperation, or something else entirely? I would really love to know what you think down in the comments. And if you found this explainer valuable, please hit subscribe for more deep dives into these complex cases. Thanks so much for joining me today.